Let's get right into it. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're decoding the real emotional and practical sides of choosing a solo musician for your destination wedding. You know, when we picture that perfect Cancun wedding, we're usually thinking about the white sand, the flawless sunset, the dress, but the thing that actually glues all those memories together, it's the sound. We're going to break down exactly how to craft the sonic story of your day, using real insights from experts on the ground.
Which brings us to the ultimate question. You've got this beautiful, super romantic vision in your head, right? But can that music actually survive the open air? We're talking real wind, crashing waves, and totally unpredictable acoustics. Because it's one thing to listen to a pristine Spotify playlist in your living room, and it's a completely different beast trying to project that same emotion across a breezy Caribbean shoreline. So, let's figure out how to make sure your vision survives the elements.
First up, shaping your ceremony mood and the emotional landscape.
Look, you aren't just picking a song here. You're picking the acoustic vehicle that's going to deliver that song straight to your guests' hearts. And we all know, when you start adding up flights, venue fees, vendor minimums, budgets get tight, fast. But bringing in a solo musician is what experts call a high-impact, low-footprint investment. It's not just a budget concession. A highly skilled solo performer can carry your ceremony just as powerfully as a massive 12-piece band carries a reception. It gives you this incredibly cinematic feel, but for a fraction of the logistical headache.
And this right here is absolutely crucial. Picking an instrument isn't just about finding someone who can hit the right notes. It is entirely about how instruments shape wedding moods. A violin or a harp, that leans really classic and ethereal. It literally gives you that walking on clouds sensation. But hey, maybe that's not your style. If you swap that out for a solo singer with a Spanish guitar, suddenly the whole vibe is soulful, rooted. It feels like a private indie folk concert. Or bring in a saxophone and bam, the energy shifts to something modern, chic, with the sunset lounge power. The specific instrument you choose literally creates the emotional landscape for those 10 minutes everyone's going to remember.
So why go live in the first place? Well, aside from setting the vibe, live music gives you this incredible point of steadiness for those adrenaline-filled nerves right before you walk down the aisle. A live soloist actually breathes with the room. They can alter the tempo to perfectly fit the exact moment, instead of just playing along to a rigid background track. Plus, a great musician will truly personalize your story. And this is fascinating. This is actually a tradition way older than the ceremony itself. If you look at ancient Maya sites down in the Yucatan, like Tulum, music was used to mark sacred moments long before modern sound systems were even a thing.
Okay, moving on to surviving outdoor acoustics, the reality of sound.
We really have to pivot from that romantic vision to the unforgiving reality of outdoor physics, because a Spanish guitar has literally nowhere to hide if the sound is off. Geography totally dictates your strategy. Take a wide-open beachfront in the Cancun hotel zone. The wind will literally strip away your lone violin's sound. It just pulls the notes right away from your guests. Now compare that to an enclosed jungle cenote in the Riviera Maya. That acts like a natural amplifier. The stone, the dense vegetation, it gives you this incredible reverb. In fact, if a musician brings too much gear into a cenote, the sound actually gets super muddy. So an experienced cenote musician knows to bring less amplification, not more. Which brings us to an absolute non-negotiable piece of gear. If you are getting married on the sand, a battery-powered PA system is mandatory. No exceptions. The Caribbean breeze is stunning, but man, it is loud. Without portable amplification, your beautiful, carefully chosen acoustic sound, it's just going to get completely drowned out by the crashing waves before it ever even reaches the back row of chairs.
Another really important piece of this puzzle is the backing track factor. It's actually super common for soloists to use pre-recorded backing tracks to fill out their sound against those wide-open spaces. Now, that's not a red flag on its own, but you absolutely need to know if they rely on them. And more importantly, you have to insist on hearing what those tracks sound like through actual speakers before the big day, not just through tiny laptop speakers on a Zoom call.
All right, Section 3, Hidden Costs and Logistics. Let's budget for reality.
So, while a soloist undoubtedly saves you massive logistical headaches compared to a big band, you can't just look at their performance fee and call it a day. There are hidden costs you've got to actively watch out for. For example, definitely do not overlook the resort fees. A lot of Cancun resorts charge pretty hefty outside vendor fees if you bring in off-list talent. And like we just talked about, you've got to factor in the extra cost of renting that battery-powered PA equipment if it isn't already included in the performer's rate.
But hey, here is the massive logistical upside to balance that out. Soloists travel incredibly light.
That means they offer essential transportation. They can easily move from a garden gazebo for the prelude straight to a beach pier for cocktail hour, zero stress. No massive technical crew, no building a stage, and no lengthy sound check eating into your super tight ceremony window. That flexibility is just a huge win.
Let's jump to vetting your solo musician, the live litmus test.
So, we know the mood we want, we understand the physics. Now, how do we make sure the person we hire can actually deliver when the wind picks up? Well, this is the absolute golden rule of destination wedding music. Never ever book off a studio track alone. A pristine studio recording is exactly like a heavily retouched photograph. It's filtered, it's edited, and honestly, it can be highly deceiving. It tells you absolutely nothing about how that musician performs when they're hit with an unexpected gust of wind. Instead of wasting hours scrolling through Instagram hashtags, just follow these exact steps. First, ask your planner. They know who's punctual and who handles pressure well. Second, dig past the star ratings and read reviews specifically looking for how they handled outdoor weather. Third, demand raw, unvarnished video footage from a real, live outdoor wedding. You want to hear the ambient noise, you want to see them perform without a safety net, and finally, confirm their temperament and fit. Make sure their energy actually matches yours. At the end of the day, once all those practical checks are done, you've just got to trust your instincts. I mean, you are bringing this performer into the most personal, intimate 10 minutes of your life. Their specific interpretation of the music really has to genuinely resonate with you. Choose the musician whose sound actually gives you goosebumps. It is your day, and their live presence should be a perfect reflection of your unique story.
Ultimately, picking the perfect soloist is about so much more than just checking a box on your to-do list. It's about intentionally managing the energy of your most emotional moments. Whether you go with the ethereal glide of a violin, the grounded strum of a Spanish guitar, or the chic wail of a saxophone, you are deciding exactly how your guests will feel. Which leaves us with this final, essential question for you to ponder as you plan. What is the sonic story of your wedding? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep that question in mind and happy planning.